What up, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back with another Shop Podcast, another episode of the Shop Podcast, episode 52. Man, this time has flew by really, really quick. Before you know it, we'll be at 100 episodes. Time has flew by really quick. So, first off, want to say I appreciate everybody for going to the channel, subscribing, commenting, all the recent success that I've had. Thank you for that. Appreciate the community support. Also, thank you guys for that. Got a lot of things coming up, but on to today's show. You know how we do it. The chat is live, so if you guys have questions, anything down in there, go ahead and put them in there. We'll take those at the end of the show. We got a special episode today. Got a lot of news, a lot of stuff happened this week. And we're going to get to all of it, or as much as we possibly can in the 60 minutes that we're going to do this. So first off, let me just go ahead and get to my guests here now. So give them a break, everybody. So they came anyway, and I really appreciate them showing up. So we're going to start with the governor, the man who needs no introduction. Go ahead and shout yourself out, brother.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, it's the pretty sick governor today. I'm doing my best to get through this show, so I'm sorry if I'm not going to be as chipper or whatever, but definitely got a lot of good stuff to talk about. So,
sure, I appreciate that big time too, GKB.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I tried to tell him he didn't have to come if he didn't want to. The man insisted. So
I don't miss a dang podcast. Bro. I try not to, man.
So I got shot in the leg. I gotta make the podcast. Just put a band-aid on it.
That's right.
So anyway, so then we have the first lady of Xbox, She-Wolf. She is also under the weather, everybody. So go ahead and shout out yourself, She-Wolf.
Hey guys, like GKB said, no matter what, we'll always be here. And heck, if you don't have a band-aid, just stick a finger in the bullet hole and you're good to go. So,
wow.
That was a little brutal. Jesus.
hey, it works. If you don't have a band-aid, it works too. Regardless, don't miss the show.
All right, so take that tip. Any war veterans or anybody planning on getting shot anytime soon, take She-Wolf's advice.
Stick a finger and move on.
That should be on a bumper sticker. Stick a finger in it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on and start the show, everybody. Today's going to be a good day. I feel good. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So let's dive right into it. Guys can guess what the first topic is going to be. We're going to dive right into this Nintendo Switch. Nintendo did a show recently, a couple days ago, and I don't like to give my direct opinion like right away once things like that happen. There's a whole lot of information going around. I like to wait a couple days and let it settle down. So I wanted to ask you guys, She-Wolf and GKB, what are you guys' opinion on that Switch? Is it changed? Is it pretty much the same since the last time we talked about it? I think you guys are still going to be getting it day one. I think that's what you guys said back then. Has that changed, or are there any concerns about what you guys have seen thus far? So we'll start with you, Governor.
So we didn't change. We got it day one. We've already pre-ordered it. So we're getting it for sure. I thought the reveal was kind of interesting. It very much started out like a rave and all this other kind of stuff, which is kind of not really what Nintendo does. I also thought it was interesting. They showed a lot of like new blood. Well, technically not really new blood. These people have been around, but you actually see different people up on the stage showing off the thing. There's been a pretty mixed bag so far on social media and all that stuff. Kind of people just losing their minds. I thought it was actually a pretty good thing. I'm still, getting it. I'm still for it. I think the game lineup is okay. I think that was probably their weakest part of the whole thing. There's, some other things with like the online where the chat is kind of like an app or something like that. We still don't know a whole lot on that yet. And I'm sure over the course of the year, they're going to be changing a lot of stuff. But overall, I thought it was okay.
Okay. Yeah, and you know what? For me, shout out to Predator, by the way. Me and him were having a long conversation about this last night. And I feel like they didn't really. Let's be honest. I told you guys I'm getting this damn thing because of Zelda.
Yeah.
I'm not getting it for anything else. Zelda is really the sole reason that I was really interested in the Switch at all. Now, after going through the presentation, rewatching it, getting some more information, I'm still not 100% sold on it. Like you said, it's kind of a mixed bag, even for me, because I don't like the fact. Well, the console price $300, perfect.
Totally agree.
Nintendo. I think that's all came in at a better price point, especially with the later this year, and some of the other consoles that have come out. with their price points being typically around $400 somewhere in that area. So 300 is a nice sweet spot for Nintendo. What I don't like is the fact that the accessories, that Pro Controller is $70. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's the major
like
part
that
there.
at all. Yeah, stuff like
you're butting out there, Blim. So I don't know when you're like stop talking or.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It just happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, I thought you were done talking, but you're actually just butting out.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is this okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay.
You seem to sound really good, and then all of a sudden it just cuts out.
Google, man. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, sorry about the interruption, guys. But that was the biggest thing for me. I feel like once you're done buying games, once you're done buying the accessories, 32 gigs of space for me isn't enough. In 2017, like there's DLC bigger than that.
Yeah,
getting like some third-party support, and that concerns me. If they do get third-party support, there's deals. And I looked up. I asked people. I know it's expandable up to 2 terabytes. How much is a 2 terabyte SD card? A couple $100.
Yeah.
So, depending if you need that space, I don't know how big. And I think somebody told me Zelda's like 16 gigs. I think.
Yeah, but it's like is that off the cartridge or the downloading?
I don't. You know what?
That's the other thing.
That's the other thing, and that's going to be a problem for me. I mean, we can barely keep up with the space. We start Xbox and PS4 minimum 500 gigs, and that's not nearly enough. I mean, the Switch isn't doing what these are doing, but they still have to play games, and it's going to have some of the same games, as far as third party goes. The problem later on, you spend a byte SD card, like that may be a problem. So you're not really walking out the door spending $300.
Yeah,
out the door spending 5, 6. Go ahead, GKB. No, you're good. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. You're kind of like in and out, so I don't. It's still kind of like weird on your end, but yeah, like those are all really good points. Like I think the accessories was like, the worst part of everything. Where I think they're just outrageously priced. I think the Pro Controller should have been around like $50 or included. But the space and all that kind of thing too is another like really good question. I don't know if 32 gigs is going to be good like inside or not. It really all depends on what Nintendo is doing as far as like their updates and third party where they're constantly updating the games and all that kind of stuff. I think that's really, really going to be where it's at. But like you were saying, the games aren't really like going to be up to par, I would say, as like for the PS4 and the Xbox One and the Pro and, the Scorpio coming out this year as well. They're very like downgraded types of games to be able to run on the Switch and being on the go and all that kind of stuff. So third parties, I thought they would show a lot stronger third party support, but they really didn't show that much. They got FIFA, which is like one of the biggest sports games out there. We saw 2K18 that's going to be on there, so that's good to see. But where's the Battlefronts and all those kind of like the Frostbite engine. The ones that really, take advantage of the horsepower that you have in these systems. That's kind of where the question is going to be for me, is where the third party is going to be in a year or a year and a half from now.
Okay, that makes sense. And those are some of the questions that I had. That's kind of why I'm taking a step back and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just wait and see because those are huge questions. I mean, that's that's a lot of the accessories and a lot of that extra stuff.
Here's the thing.
It's kind of making.
I wanted to ask you this. Oh, hang on.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, lady? So Foxfire jumped in here, everybody. So shout out Foxfire. What's up, lady? How you doing today?
I'm good. Good. You guys?
Good.
What are you guys chatting about?
Awesome.
We're talking about the
Switch.
Awesome.
Talking about the Switch. So we're gonna get your opinion on that too. But go ahead, GKB.
Here's the other thing too. I kind of was like losing my train of thought there. I forgot what I was going to say.
Breathe, GKB.
We're going to move on. I'll come back to it.
Okay, well, go ahead, She-Wolf. What's your opinion on that, She-Wolf?
All right, when it comes to the Switch, I guess my biggest thing is definitely the size. Like, they told you alone that when you take it out and stuff, your battery life alone is going to be depends on the game that you're playing and the size of the game. So it makes you question, like, where is all this space going to be held for these games? And we know that there's cartridges, yes, but what about if they try to pull over Call of Duty or if, these other third parties? FIFA alone is a large size game. So the question is, is this going to have enough space, or is this going to be one of those things where you're going to have to buy an outrageous size, USB drive or whatever or SD card to put into it? Or is it even going to have that to where you're limited on what you're allowed to use? So there is definitely some things that are questionable and make you wonder. The Switch did look cool. The show was very interesting, and it definitely piqued my interest on what it can do and, where they're taking it. But it does seem more of like almost as if it's a cell phone that they turned into a console. Or I guess you could say more or less a tablet.
I guess I kind of remember what I was going to go back to. And it was like, I'm approaching the Switch as it's not my number one console that I'll be using. My Xbox is my preferred console. So, like, what am I going to be playing on the Switch? Obviously, I'm just going to be playing the games that I can't play on the other consoles. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. And, I saw a lot of, like, people kind of blowing up and not understanding the Switch and all that. And I was kind of like throwing that argument out there, but I'm like, you're taking it to like the aspect that you're going to be, this is your main console. And a lot of the guys that we talk to and stuff are like Xbox and PS4 guys, like that's their main console. So the Switch really is just going to be playing the exclusives. So as long as I'm getting my Mario Kart, my Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, all those kind of games, I'll be happy with it because that's really the only one. I'm not going to buy third party on there because I'm going to play them on my Xbox, right?
So you know what? That's a great that's a great piece of information because I have another question to kind of piggyback off of that, GKB. What do you think is going to happen to the Switch when that novelty wears off? Because I feel like once I can take this off think about it. Removing it and then putting it back on the dock, that's the catch. That's what everybody's all, oh my God about. When that novelty wears off, like it's going to be a Wii U. It's going to be like because think about it.
Oh, Wii U.
I don't mean Wii U like it's going to be a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean like it's going to be a failure or anything like that. I just mean that like Nintendo is doing it all over again. Like, okay, this is a new console, but you're not really doing anything different. Like, yeah, the online system is there, and that's still suspect. We don't know what we're getting, and they're paying for it this time around. So, like you said, the app and all this different kind of stuff, it may be cool. It may work really well. But once that novelty wears off, what do you think the console? Because I mean, like you said, a lot of people that are talking about it do own multiple consoles, and it'll probably sit around as that third console, kind of like the Wii U. Is that really going to push Nintendo to do different things and push third-party publishers to go out their way to make games for it? When most people, once that novelty wear off, it's just going to be that extra console again.
Well, I think the novelty eventually is going to wear off, right? Like I think the whole on-the-go thing is for people that travel and stuff, or like for like little kids and stuff that are in the car for a good amount of time. If you're going for like a trip or something like that. But other than that, it'll probably be docked most of the time. Or if I'm sitting on the couch and I just want to play, whatever while we're watching a movie, I could see that. But yeah, for sure, I think the novelty is definitely going to wear off. Yeah, I mean the third party and stuff. That's the big question, honestly. I think if it sells and it sells well and it continues to sell well, I think third-party support will be there because it's just another platform for them to sell games on, right? Because that's what they want to do. They want to sell the most amount of games. So it all depends on like we're gonna know over the next year and definitely through the holiday. Let's say the Switch is one of the biggest sellers, then I definitely think you're going to see a lot more third-party jump on board and start trying to figure out how they can get their games on there. Is every game going to go on there? Probably not, because it probably won't run because it's pretty low powered compared to the other systems. But we'll have to wait and see, though. And
that's another thing too. The development, when you got something like the Scorpio, you got the Pro out already. The gap between the specs, I know that developers kind of shoot for the middle ground, but that's a big gap between that Scorpio and that Switch, or that Pro and that Switch, as far as like the game and what it can do and what you can utilize. Like, that's going to be very interesting to see what developers or third-party developers especially do with that gap. Are they still going to kind of do it for a middle ground, or are they going to that's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see.
I think another good point too is Nintendo wasn't really coy or like tried to hide anything either. Like, because in the reveal they literally came out and said, look, we took the best things from all of our consoles and pretty much put it into one. And yeah, I could see like it's definitely the Wii U gamepad kind of thing, but with a bunch of other elements from the other systems. And people are kind of like back and forth, oh, it's just a Wii U, but they kind of came out and told you that. Like, they kind of came out and said, hey, this is an amalgamation of all the stuff we've done over the years. So, you got to kind of take that too. Like, at least they're telling you the truth,
Yeah, that's true, and I appreciate that. They're more forthcoming. I feel like all the big three should really be like that. So before we forget, I don't want to forget. Go ahead, Foxfire.
We've kind of been
opinion
talking
on
the
the
whole time.
Switch? Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good.
But what's your opinion on the Switch? Is it still a day one buy for you, or you got some concerns? Or are there any concerns that you have, maybe?
I don't even know where to start. The whole thing for me was an eye opener. I feel like I now know like what they're doing, as like from before I didn't know where they were going with it, and I was looking forward to seeing what they showed. But now I know, and I'm not interested in the Switch at all. Like how I wish I was. So for me, it's not a day one buy. Maybe in the future, I'll check it out some more. For the games, obviously, the exclusive is what matters in Nintendo. But yeah, I'm not happy with what I saw. It was really disappointing for me. And the game that just stood out to me is going to the Wii U, which is another surprise because everybody was telling me how Zelda was canceled on the Wii U, but it isn't. So I can go pick that up with a Wii U like used console and some extra exclusive games that I haven't tried yet. Because I have been looking forward to like probably buying a Wii U here or there because like family members had it and I played it before, but for my own. And I'm looking forward to getting a Wii U now more than a Switch, which is weird to say. Because that Zelda does look really good, I'm not going to lie.
Oh my god.
Well,
Yeah,
can't you also get Mario Odyssey on Wii U? Isn't that something that they were kind of hinting
I think
at?
that's just Switch.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
because
I
they said that the hat with the eyeballs was only a Switch function. So
if they do, that's another surprise to me. But no, I didn't hear anything about that. So
Well, I mean, if they're doing
that
that,
would be something they release later on next year anyway. No, like at this
But I
holiday,
mean,
right?
if they're doing that, they're kind of like killing the Switch before it even had a chance. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. Like, if they're going to keep releasing games that are, they should
They
be
need
pushing
titles
the Switch. Yeah,
for
exactly.
you to buy the Switch for.
Exactly.
And obviously, Zelda's not one of them, unless you want to play in 1080. Other than that, I mean, and obviously on the go as well, which another thing I'm surprised about because my whole life I've been mostly a Nintendo handheld person, and I've tried consoles here and there. I played them and all that, but the fact that the Switch, I was looking forward to it being a home console, and it feels more like a tablet / handheld to me. It's weird because I already have my 3DS, so I don't want that.
And I don't want to cut you off, but that's a funny thing because you just mentioned that. Me and shout out to Predator again. I had about an hour conversation last night about this, and another thing for me is that's exactly what you meant. The 3DS is dominating that market. It almost feels like if I have a 3DS sitting next to me, which is built strictly for me to take on the go, that's even less of incentive for me to take that thing off the dock. Like this handheld, I know it's gonna last.
Because can
for
you get
me,
Zelda Breath of the Wild on the DS?
But am I going to be taking that on a road trip with me though? No, I'm going to take that to my couch or to my neighbor's house. Hey, look, I'm still playing Zelda. Now
Yeah, that's a game that you sit down and you invest on it. When you play handheld games like on the 3DS, I just pick up, I play a little bit, and I let it go because I'm on the train or something, and it's quick. But if you play Zelda, I feel like that's something I want to sit down on the couch to play.
And
it's a bit different.
Then the battery life. She-Wolf just mentioned that, or you just mentioned, I think it was, that depending on the type of game, the battery life may be 2-3 hours tops with something like Zelda. That's not going to be,
true.
that's a game you got to put time into. It's just, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of questions, a lot of small things that I'm concerned about, because all of us pretty much were looking forward to the Switch and had high expectations for it, but it's just little things that are kind of bothering me and I'm kind of worried about. I'm thinking I'm gonna pick up a Wii U too just to get Zelda at first. Then I'll get to Switch a little bit later on. GKB, were there any other games that they showed? I watched it a little bit. I didn't. Were there any other? What's the launch lineup look like? Because I heard that wasn't even all that great. I mean, I know they showed Xenoblade 2.
No,
They
there's
showed
like 5 launch titles.
they got like 5 launch. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not bad,
Zelda
I
is
guess.
the
If
main
you're into
one.
like,
Yeah, Zelda's the big
what
draw.
was
I
it?
mean,
Yeah.
off
What
the
were
top
some
of
of
my
the
head,
other
man,
games?
off the top of my head, I don't really know like which ones are going to be out like at launch. Like the only one I was really caring about like at launch was just Zelda for me. Like I said, I'm not going to get really any other games except for the exclusives on the Switch anyway. So Zelda,
Yeah.
Mario. I thought that ARMS game looked pretty cool. I thought that would kind of be pretty
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a lot of people are not to like I'm
No,
being
go
rude. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of people did say they were interested in that. I mean, not me, but like some people said, and that's not even a launch game, and I'm like, but it's so simple looking,
Yeah.
you know?
What?
Yeah, the ARMS game is not launch. Zelda's launch. 1-2 Switch is a launch game, which I don't even want to talk about that hot mess.
Yeah, that's a
Just Dance, it's a launch. Is it Bomberman?
yeah, Bomberman.
I think that's launch. And probably Skylanders or something that we already have on
I think
Xbox and
Skylanders was
PlayStation.
one.
That's
Yeah.
another launch as well. But that's it. Just those right there.
Yeah,
And the fact that ARMS is not a launch game, that's a surprise to me. A lot of people are actually looking forward to that.
Yeah, like
I
when you
don't-
see like ARMS too, that they're playing it and like the treehouse of it and all that kind of stuff, it looks like a finished game. Like, why is that not a launch game? They should have pushed that.
Yeah, it looks so simple. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And another one would be Mario's. Was it Mario
That's
Kart
fall.
8? But
hearing
they're adding
Splatoon.
stuff to it because it's deluxe.
Oh, yeah,
That's not even
Splatoon
coming out.
2, that's not even going to be a launch title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I
Well,
think the
that's-
games were like the weakest part of the whole thing. I thought they really should have like brought out their big guns for this. I mean, they got Mario Kart and all that stuff, but it's not launch. Like you need to have a Mario game. You need to have Zelda and all that stuff at launch. That's what's going to get people to buy the system.
Especially when people are already unsure about it to begin with, because like even when they explain their online services, yes, they're giving it free to people, but now people are kind of curious on like, well, how much are you going to pay? Like, how much are we going to have to pay for this? So we're going to get to
Did they-
try it for a little while and then not actually know how much it's going to cost us later.
Well, did they even
Yeah.
go into the features of the online features? Party chat? Anything? Like,
Yeah, they
any
said
type
like,
of-
Well,
It's like
they
an
mentioned
app.
that. Yeah, they mentioned
and
that
it's going to be
part. That was
paid
pretty
like
bad.
after 6 months, I believe, or something like that too.
Oh,
I think you also get like a free 1 month thing of like a backwards compat, like NES kind of game. But I think
But then
you
they
only keep it
take
for
it
a
away.
month, and then they take it away, which is
It's
kind
a
of
rental.
weird. Yeah, it's like
I'm
a rental
gonna-
for a month. Here's the thing,
I
like,
was going to give Nintendo a pass, but I'm not going to do it as far as the online, because they haven't had an online infrastructure. Think about this, people. This is the same company that in 2013 said that they were just realizing how big like online gaming was.
Yeah.
Out of the mouths from Nintendo, I can't remember if it was Reggie or if it was somebody else. That it was, I can't remember, one of the two said that they just realized how important online gaming was, and this was in 2013. So I can't that I'm talking about. I feel like Nintendo treats its fans like prisoners at Guantanamo Bay. You starve them for 2.5 years. I'm dead serious. Think about this. Think about this for a second. If there were games constantly pumped out for that Wii U or whatever the case may be, or if that Wii U was even remotely popular, or if it had done what the Wii did, this Switch probably wouldn't even been made. Let's be honest, because I feel like what they did was that they pretty much the last year the Wii U has been like completely dead. They haven't done anything. They stopped making a thing, for Christ's sake. They stopped manufacturing. Dead, then I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, I think
they
last year
starved
they only had like 2 exclusives or something that came out.
Yeah,
Or
well,
maybe
yeah,
just 2
well-
games.
You know what my problem is though? The problem with the Wii U was that even though they had these features that they promised us, they didn't work properly. The main reason I had actually wanted the Wii U was so that I was able to actually play on like from the TV to the screen. Then when I got the launch titles like Mickey Epic 2, when I got it, it didn't have that feature. It actually didn't allow that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was
Well,
only
yeah.
for certain games.
Me.
Here's the
Right.
thing, like, from what we've seen and we've seen the reveal, I think the reveal was fine. Whether it got you hype or not hype or whatever it is, whatever. I think their launch date should have been holiday, so that way they had all these games that are going to come out throughout the year. that they would just be all in the launch. And I think it would be a much better fit for them if they would have just waited till like November. So then you would have, you know, Mario, Zelda, and all those types of games that we were looking forward to for a Nintendo system. Just say, hey guys, here's our reveal, and then it's coming out holiday 2017. And with all these games, would have been a much better thing to do, honestly, looking back, playing the quarterback. But
yeah, I don't know. I just, and at the end of the day, for me, to kind of wrap up the topic here, it's too many questions at this point. I'm still not entirely sold on it. I think that maybe it'll grow on me. Who knows? Maybe when I get a chance to actually demo one and go on and actually play. I'm getting Zelda regardless. It doesn't matter. I'll buy Zelda even if I don't have a Wii U just to hold on to it when I get one, or a Switch. You know what I'm saying? Zelda is to me. But other than that, like I'm still not really seeing. And I feel like Nintendo's still doing the bait and switch. You know, they just kind of, okay, we're going to put this out there. Everybody's excited because we're Nintendo. We're going to sell a shit ton of consoles in about 6 months. You know, because it's going to sell like crazy. I feel like it's probably going to kill
Nintendo
NPD
name
about,
that you're buying, basically.
At least 3 or 4 NPDs in a row is going to destroy PlayStation and Xbox. Probably
for
at
sure.
least 3 or 4 months.
Well, they can keep the supplies up anyway.
Don't even give me that. We'll have this whole podcast will be about Nintendo if I get started.
What it seems like to me, right quick before we move on, is that they're releasing it now because you know you got that tax money, and then they'll give you the games later, and that's it. You gotta wait.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. It's so hard. All right. So, great opening topic. So let's move on to another topic that it's kind of hurt me earlier this week. Hurt all of us. A lot of us are actually pretty bummer news about Scalebound.
Well, I guess you want me triggered now.
I really don't want you to be triggered, man. You're sick. You can't get triggered right now. You'll throw up all over yourself. All over the mic. But anyway,
GKB gets triggered even when a sports team loses.
That's true.
Yeah. So let's do that, GKB. Let's keep up. All right. It was canceled. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of rumors since the information, the initial.
You're bot now, bro.
That it was actually canceled. I kind of times. Crap. Better?
Yeah, he's botting a bit.
Is that better or no? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're still botting, bro.
All right, hold on, guys. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if this is going. Okay. So Scalebound. So let's just start with you, GKB. Has over time? I know it's been a few days now. Has your opinion or anything else you've learned changed the whole situation with Scalebound, or no? You still?
No, I'm still pretty annoyed about it, honestly. I think it's a missed opportunity for Microsoft. I think, Platinum and Microsoft, some way, somehow, should have came to an agreement and got this game made, for better or for worse, honestly. I think a lot of people were really excited about it. Microsoft and Platinum have been showing this game off for the last 3 years. We're going to get it out. And I think that's really where the cause of everybody's frustration is like, don't show off these games way too early. And if you don't have any faith or anything in the title, you shouldn't have showed it off in the first place. Now, I don't work for Platinum. I don't work for Microsoft. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. There's a lot of outlandish rumors right now of what went on, this, that, and the other. But I won't get into that. But I think it does shake a lot of people's faith in new IPs if they're actually going to make it to the end or not for Microsoft. And Phil's come out on Twitter and he said we're going to take risks and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and that's great. I believe Phil. I definitely think he's going to take risks. But where my concern is, and I think where the community's concern is how many of these games are going to make it to the release date. And I can't really get hype, and I'm sure a lot of the other people on the panel you can't really get hype for these games now because we don't just know, and that's kind of a bummer. With that whole cancellation and the other ones.
If you think about this, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No,
go ahead. If you think about this generation, this entire generation has been marred with that. If it's not the game not coming out, it's the game coming out and being broken when it comes out. It seems like that's happened throughout, even with multi-plats, things like that. It's happened numerous times in the generation. I'm bummed out, especially for Scalebound, because obviously, like you said, I'm a gamer. I want to play it. I'm an Xbox fan. I want to play it, and it's one of the games I was looking for. It's a new IP. It looked very ambitious. It was something that Microsoft needs in their portfolio, in their catalog of games, a type of game that they need. Like you said, we don't know exactly what went on. We're hearing things from month off to there was some money issues. I don't know. They didn't like the direction of the game, or there were things being added to the game and they couldn't keep up. So it's just unfortunate. Like you said, I wish they could have came to the table and figured it out. It does create apprehension. Xbox fans, a lot of hardcore Xbox fans now, as far as when you announce these new IPs, are they going to make it? Like you just said, GKB. So that's a real fear, I guess, in the Xbox community at this point. So She-Wolf. Go ahead before we get to She-Wolf.
Yeah, I was just gonna go on, like, that's kind of like my whole thing is like, the rumors about like they took a month off, the money and this, that, and the other, and it's easy to speculate and hate and put blame on everybody, but at the end of the day, I think Microsoft and Platinum and and if all those things did happen, that's a bargaining chip for Microsoft. Like they could have went to them and being like, look, we paid you so much money, you kind of screwed us right now, so we're going to renegotiate this contract if you want to get paid any more money. Take the bonuses, whatever else, like bells and whistles out, but still come to the table. I think cancellation should be the absolute last thing that they should do.
Definitely. It almost feels like, just the way the news came out, it almost feels like somebody literally, like Kamaya, called Phil like 3 a.m. was like, man, we can't do it. Like, we can't do it.
Like he walked up to Phil's desk, like dropped his pants and just shit on his desk, and Phil was like, all right, you're fired.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how it was.
Yeah, that it almost feels that way because there was no indication. Like, I hadn't heard, and there's typically a lot of rumors when games are being developed that there's been struggles. I mean, I know the game was pushed back. Was it even pushed back? It never had a release date, so it wasn't pushed back, right?
Well, I think
it never had
it didn't have an actual hard date, but they said 2016 or something like that. Then it got pushed back to 2017.
It had holiday.
Then it got pushed back.
Exactly.
Okay.
It had like a rough draft.
Like a holiday,
yes.
like kind of.
Oh, okay. So, but I mean, I hadn't heard anything about any technical difficulties as far as the game being made or anything like that.
Yeah, but back to your point, Blam, though, is like this gen has been like marred with like games coming out too soon. They're broken and all that kind of stuff, and I said this on Xbox Nation, I got a kind of a flack for it, and I'm like, development's going to take longer, guys, and they kind of like shot me down and were like, PC's the easiest one to do this, that, and the other, but you're not looking at the whole picture. Look at the games we're getting right now. They come out completely fucking broken, and we have like 6 to 12 gig updates like every day after that, trying to fix it and stuff like that. And I'm not saying
day one patch is a normal thing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying games are going to be like 100% not, buggy or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I think if they took an extra year, or the publishers and stuff gave them an extra year or two, whatever they needed, they'd be much better off, and would have consumers, I don't even know, like trust in them that these games are going to come out unbroken. So why not delay it? Like, that's not a big deal. We all sit up here on the podcast and be like, we're fine with delays, we hate cancellations, and then they cancel and we're like, well, the next day we're like, oh, well, we didn't really care about the game anyway. Bullshit. We all wanted fucking Scalebound, regardless of if it was your game or not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, She-Wolf, what do you think?
Well, when it comes to this whole thing, like, yes, I am really pissed about it, but at the same time, it is Microsoft's fault for showing games too fast. Well, not even just Microsoft. Sony does it, and even Nintendo does it. None of these consoles should be bringing out games that are too far in advance. If you are not, and I've said this on I don't know how many different podcasts now, and I'm going to stick by this, if you're not confident in your game, then you should not promote it until you are actually comfortable with it. Because in the end, it is the fans that you are disappointing. And, obviously Microsoft did have some idea about how they felt about this game when they didn't show it at the E3, and the developer made a big fuss about it and got he ended up getting all this news and stuff about IGN and everything else like that. And it's like, I understand the developer pushed it, but Microsoft knew then that there could have possibly been some issues with this game, and instead they just kept promoting it, and I don't think that was right. Fallout 4 did the best thing for games. They showed it at least almost a year before launch. I believe it was even shorter than that because E3's in June and then it released in November. So it showed literally like within months of each other. And yes, I get that it's a big title, that it was able to stand on its own. But who would actually look at a new IP, get this like trailers and all that kind of stuff, and say get it like at that point in time, like in June at E3 or something, and then they tell you, okay, it's going to launch in November. It is going to be there in November. It will be there. Would you not be more excited for this game because of the fact you have less details and you don't have this whole long wait just for this game? And I think that's where Platinum Games really screwed up, was they shouldn't have pushed so hard for everyone to know this game when there was this small chance that, you know, we could see it actually be canceled. And yes, cancellations and delays and all this other things do happen with games, but then these companies should know that and should stop promoting them so early on so that this doesn't happen, because we are there, you know, we are the consumers. We are the ones that are buying these games. So disappointing us time after time after time, all that's allowing is for us to have that unsatisfactory that, you know, what if the next big game that we see is, do we believe it could come out? Do we believe Cuphead's coming out now? Could that be canceled now? Like, we've seen it happen to so many games where they get constantly delayed or just completely canceled. And yet, yes, I agree with GKB. We should be upset if we were upset about it. I was not as
Your
personally
words were, stop getting butthurt, I think.
I guess that's, I was gonna say I was more hurt with Fable Legends when it got canceled than Scalebound, because I was more invested in that game because I actually got to see it grow. But I was still really upset. But at the same time, Microsoft proved to us, what are you bringing us instead? Like, actually show us what you're going to release.
Well, that's the point too, Like, you know, Phil came out and said, "Hey, Street Fighter, I screwed up, guys. I'm gonna make it up for you." Where's that makeup? We still haven't seen anything for Street Fighter. Now, you know, Scalebound's canceled. I'm gonna make that up for you. Okay, when is that gonna happen, and what are you doing? Like, we you know, this is the kind of stuff that we keep going back and forth with. Like,
let's take a step back. Let's take a step back. Now, we don't know what goes on. We don't like GKB said at the beginning when he first started talking. This is business first. At the end of the day, people, these are a lot of deals being made. There's timetables. Money has to be paid. Money has to change hands. All these things got to fall into place for these games to come to actual fruition. For them to come out on time, for, you know, to come out not broken. So you're right. You're right on one hand, GKB. I do feel like it creates a gap in the lineup for 2017. That gap needs to be filled with something. Be done to fill that gap. Now, I feel I'm not gonna put all the blame on Phil, because I feel like he's done quite a bit.
There's two parties involved, and they both have 50% of the blame here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is too, and shout out to Black Tiger, because I mentioned is that they were making a lot of fucking games at one time. They had like 3 games they were making all at one time. So on top of the ones that they just got done making, the Ninja Turtle game, they made Star Fox, they made that Transformers game not that long ago. Like, they're a busy ass studio. So if you take that project and you take the money that comes along with that, and you sitting there like, you know what, I don't know, we're working on like 3 other games. Can we do this? Fuck it, we got the check already. So let's just start on it and see if we can do it. Like, you know, I'm not blaming them, but it almost feels like, you know, that.
Here's a rebuttal to your statement though, Blam. Like, I get the money thing, like they put a bunch of money into it and, you know, they're trying to cut their losses. But here's my point to that. Like, okay, so we delay it for another year, maybe 2, right? We throw a little bit more money at it. You're going to recoup some money back, but canceling it, you get no money back. Like, you spend all that money for nothing, right?
And so that's what I meant by it almost feels like he just called him and said, we can't do it. Yeah.
But here's the other part to the, you know, the other thing you were saying there. What was the second part? Dang it.
About them making a bunch of games?
A bunch of games, yeah. Like, but Phil knew that too. I find it kind of hard to believe that the heads of Sony and Microsoft don't know what these guys are building, right? Because I'm sure they pitched all the games that they're working on to both of these publishers, right? Because that's what they do. That's what they're trying to get people to buy these games. So Phil went into knowing they're working on all these games. Phil also run Microsoft, you know, studios where they build games. He knows how it is. He knows when they get busy, there's going to be delays and shit's just not going to be on time, right? Like, And that's where I keep going back to, like, it's 50% them and 50% Microsoft. Like, maybe, Phil didn't have enough oversight, or maybe he was thinking they would just put them ahead, and and whatever the case may be. But Platinum, at the end of the day, runs their studio how they run their studio.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Really, nobody else say,
for a game
say about it.
Canceled the way it did, something irreconcilable had to happen.
I agree.
Like,
I'm telling you, he went in and like shit on his desk.
They could have also I kind of thought that was somewhat of the point of the preview program for games to, that are having low funding and stuff like that, can actually put these games in there where they're getting help from like the gamers and stuff like that, and also feedback on building the games and stuff like that. Why didn't they, if they were having such money issues with it, why didn't they just stick it into game preview and then saw where, like, they could have actually made some money back? They could have actually finished the game and actually pushed it farther if they would have just put it into, because in my mind, regardless of, we have We Happy Few, we have a couple of other games in there that are still not completed. They're still not finished games. People are still buying them though.
Yeah, Ark has been in game preview for like 2 years now.
Exactly.
Ark has been in game preview for forever.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. So why not stick this game in there? Work on it slowly. That's all they had to do. They could have just stuck it in there, let it build money. Worked on it slowly.
They've already. I just feel like She-Wolf. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Not to cut you off, but I feel like for this type of game, they really wanted that blockbuster feel. I mean, a lot of the games that go into the preview are for smaller games, smaller independent studios that are just trying to build a game, and they need a little bit extra kick to get the game over the hump. A game like Scalebound shouldn't need any type of financial backing from us. That's between them and Microsoft, or them and Xbox, whatever you want to call it. A game of that magnitude, I guess you could call it a AAA, or was going to be a AAA title. Any type of AAA title, I don't feel like should be in a preview program, because it shouldn't need to be in a preview program. You have a whole entire studio dedicated to making that game. That's like putting Quantum Break in a preview program, or something like that. Like, it just wouldn't have fit.
I would rather it go in the preview program than not see it come out at all.
True.
Yeah,
that's the alternative. True. That's the alternative.
Like, it was a new IP.
So Fox, we didn't. Fox,
No.
If you weren't done, She-Wolf, go ahead.
No, I'm good. Go Fox.
No, yeah, you guys have a lot of great points, because obviously I'd rather it be delayed, and I'd rather wait to see what they come up with later on rather than just canceling it. And then that's it. That's the end of the story. In which it just leaves us waiting and clueless to what's going on. And that's why we're always talking about, like, where happened to this game? What's going to happen to the properties and all that stuff that they did? Where does that go? Does somebody else, use it for something else, for another JRPG? Who knows? And it sucks to have those questions. I do agree with you guys. I'd rather it be delayed and then we get it later on, whether it's like worth it or not. But it does make me question, like GKB mentioned earlier, it makes me question the upcoming games, like Sea of Thieves and stuff like that, which I am looking forward to it, but now I'm have to lower my standards a little bit just in case. And that's not a good feeling, being in the Xbox and on the PlayStation when you have that kind of question, like, well, I don't know if I should get too hyped up for this because they might cancel it. It sucks. But at the end of the, like right now as it stands, since we've been dealing with this for a couple of days now, you can't do anything about it. So I am starting to feel that, oh well, gotta move on feeling now. So in a way, I'm just looking ahead to the games that we are getting, and I'm not looking back right now. So I have that feeling where I'm kind of like, oh, I'm getting over it, But yeah, it still sucks because I was looking forward to trying this RPG game. I really want an RPG game to get into because that's not my thing.
Who doesn't want to freaking play as a dragon?
Yeah, especially with co-op. That would have been so fun to play together.
Yeah.
So,
This goes back to, like, I think the argument we've had, like, on Xbox Nation and other podcasts too. I think Microsoft needs to either go get some decent studios or start building some studios so this stuff doesn't happen in the future. That way they have complete control over everything. They know where the money's going and all that kind of stuff. And that alleviates
just so surprising.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that Platinum has so
Was.
many different developers and different sections of their. I was like, really? Nobody could have helped you out? Like, really? Come on. You got so many people just sitting in the sidelines doing Ninja Turtles and
Yeah.
Manhattan 2 or whatever.
I
Come
think
on.
there's more to it. I think there was a falling out of the developers in Microsoft, and I think there was a lot more to this that they're not disclosing, and I think
True,
that's
that could
what
be a
it's
thing.
coming down to. Because there's too much that's unanswered for and other,
Yeah.
like you guys said, there was other options that they could have done before
Right.
just completely canceling it when it comes to a game.
Like they had shitty communication with each other, though, so definitely.
Yeah, and it's you know, for a game to just one day there, next day gone type situation, there's something irreconcilable that has to happen. Now we're gonna, like I said, we're not gonna get into all of that, and we don't know any of that information. So,
Yep.
I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We're all feeling that sucks, but most of us are getting over it at this point, or are already over it, and kind of just hoping and looking forward to better practices in the future, and hoping that this doesn't happen again anytime soon, at least. So
Right.
let's go ahead and dive into the next topic. So next topic is going to be about some of the BC games that came out. The back-and-back game recently came out. There was 7 announced, and I think more on top of that. But it was actually a pretty damn good list. I was surprised to see Bad Company. What else was there? Battlefield 3 was there. Dragon Age Origins, Ghostbusters. So I feel like that backwards compat. I feel like they've been like BC 2 or 3 months. I feel like the games we're getting that have been coming are awesome. I don't know, if these companies are kind of warming up to it. Some of these other, developers. But how do you guys feel about a lot of the recent back compat titles and the fact that we're getting some of these really cool, older games that were on 360 and stuff? So I'll start with you, Foxfire. How do you feel about some of these BC games?
Oh man, I think it's awesome. Yeah, and you're right. They're nailing it. They've gotten better and better. They release a couple at a time, which is really cool. Instead of us waiting, I remember in the beginning it was like you would get 10 or something at a certain date. So the fact that they're doing them randomly and just throwing a couple at you, whether it be like 8 or something like that, or 4, as long as they're pretty good titles, I'm really happy with what they're doing. I'm enjoying playing Battlefield 3. There's still a lot of people on there, so it's really fun to have that throwback and play some old school games, and the fact that you can even play some of the games that you missed out on. So I really like what they're doing, and I like the games that they're bringing out, and the way that they're doing it. So yeah, I'm happy with it, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, She-Wolf, what about you?
I like what they're doing with backwards compat. I've always liked what they're doing. I wish they would bring my damn game to backwards compat, and then I would be happy. But seriously, it's an EA
mentions
game.
it once a
People
week.
play. Well,
Once
no,
a week.
No,
I'm kidding.
no, that's not
Do you
true. I only
follow-
mention it when backwards compat is brought up.
It's just
So in my defense, though, come on, it is an EA game that still sells for $30 pre-owned at GameStop. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
you can't tell me that it's not like at least worth putting it into. At least
No.
EA can even put it into their vault. Like, they took the damn rights from the guy. They could at least give it freaking.
Salt.
Speaking of which, did
It is.
they add Battlefield and Dragon Age yet to the vault? Because I heard that they weren't there when they were back in Pat, so they were
haven't
going
been in
to
the
add
vault.
them. Just asking you
I
guys
don't know.
because you haven't.
I haven't seen anything come up for them when I was looking through my game title, like through my library. So that's a good
Should
question.
add those. That would be nice. And also the fact that EA has a big library of like 360 games, they should put them all in there. That would be really nice.
It would be smart of them. They would definitely probably have more
all
people
right.
willing to buy it
Hey, cool.
or pay for it.
So, do you follow Peter Moore? You need to tweet him, let him know how
Right.
pissed you are about Alice not being BC.
Is that who
Sure,
runs
let
here?
him know. So, okay, cool. All right, so GKB, what about you? I mean, like I said before, everybody seems to be pretty satisfied, and the fact that they're randomly and a lot of the games, the quality of the games, I think recently has been really, really good as far as the BC game. So, you feel the same way, or?
Yeah, I think back compat is like an awesome feature. It's really good, especially if you have like a big backlog of, 360 games just sitting around. Once they come unlocked in back compat, you can play them. Just put the disc in and go to town. Like I say this on every podcast. It's kind of bittersweet for me. I literally have so much in my backlog. Like back compat is like, the 10th thing I ever think about when I go and play something because there's just so many games right now I got to play and get through. So. Eventually, yeah. And to Fox's point too, I think if you ever missed any games through the 360 area that you didn't pick up or whatever, and they come back a pad, that's really nice. So you can play them on your Xbox One. But all in all, I think they're doing a good job. It's over like 300 titles now, so it's really coming into its own. And if there's anything to the rumor that the Scorpio is supposed to be like 100% back compat, how they're doing that, I have no idea. Maybe they have some of the chips and it's just running right off the disc. So that'd be kind of cool.
Possibly.
Don't know about.
Well, you remember GKB? A lot of people were saying back compat this gen wasn't even possible.
Yeah.
Tony said, "Oh, that's not happening. They can't do that. Like that's not possible."
Oh yeah, mind blown.
Yeah. So then when it came out, they were like, "Shit. All right, so we got to figure something out." PS now, go. Anyway.
Whoa. Another thing I want to mention about the frame rate when they have problems with like the old 360 games on the Xbox One, they fixed it. Like after a while, they patch it up so it runs better on the Xbox One. Absolutely. So I like that they do that. They're listening, so that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's what I kind of worry about. Like, let's say they put the chips from the 360 in the Scorpio, and the rumor's true that it's going to be 100% back compat. So then it's really just going to be playing the same performance you get on the 360. So I don't know how I feel about that because, like Fox said, they run much better on the Xbox One through that emulation that they're doing. I almost want them to just keep doing that, really.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. We'll have to see for sure.
I have to wait and see, man. That Scorpio hype is on the way, man. We'll see more about that later, obviously. But okay, cool. Good topic. All right. So I just got a jewel dropped on me. Just let everybody know here. Well, thought if you guys saw what I put in the chat. So we're gonna do something fun. Shout out to Black Tiger, man. He's always that guy, man. Is always helping out, always doing something awesome for me. So he recently just now, like 5-10 minutes ago, sent me a code for Batman Arkham Knight. And I'm going to go ahead and actually give away.
Oh, what? Can I back out of here and get that? Hey, I want
it. If you guys have not played Arkham Knight, it's just the most recent game in the Batman series, and I will be giving away that code. Awesome, we'll do it trivia style like we always do, GKB.
I got one.
If you got one, okay, cool. We'll do it trivia style, and that'll be like one of the last things we do before we end the podcast officially. We'll take a couple questions from the chat too. Appreciate everybody in here rocking with us. I didn't have any other questions that I had typed up, but so if you guys want to go ahead and just put your questions down in the chat, let us know. We'll go ahead and I'll pose those to the panel and we'll answer them. So just let us know. We'll give you guys time to go ahead and fill up the thing. You know what? We might as well do it now while we're waiting on questions, GKB. If you already got the question ready.
Yeah. So if you read any of the comics, Batman comics and stuff, Batman has a son. What's his name?
So, everybody in the chat, if you're watching live, Batman has a son. We need to know what his name is. The first person to DM GKB with the right answer is going to get the code.
Can I say it?
If you follow,
I know it too. It's Batman Jr.
No, I actually know it.
I know. I'm kidding.
So yeah, you guys, hey, if you're listening, you want that game, DM GKB with the right answer. I'll shoot him the code, or he'll let me know who got the right answer. Yeah, don't put it in the chat, Chris. Put it DM GKB.
Nobody saw that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that.
Yeah,
I don't want it. No, still, what if somebody else does, Chris? Jesus.
Too late.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh boy.
All right, so let us know when you get something, GKB. And by the way, everybody, like I said, we're taking questions now. If you have any questions for us, go ahead and just put it in the chat. We'll answer as many questions as we can, usually about 2 or 3, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up. Okay, so, yeah.
Am I right? I mean...
Okay, that's a good question, Sean Su. Sorry, that's a good question. I'll make sure I ask the panel that, but So we need a couple more questions here, and then we'll actually get it going here. You get anything yet, GKB?
Nothing yet, man.
Nothing
Oh,
yet.
what?
All right,
I
so
DM'd you. It doesn't count.
No.
Yeah, you don't count, She Wolf. So if you guys
Does
want that
Fox
code,
count
go
if
ahead.
she does it? Well, that's not fair
Damn.
because technically
So,
I like
if
made
you
her
guys-
jump in here.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
messed
guys
up.
want Batman Arkham Knight, everybody. So give me
She-Wolf,
the
you
code.
screwed me out of a free game. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I didn't know that they were doing that.
I'm
I
kidding.
don't think we knew either.
Yeah, so
It was a nice
DMGKB.
surprise. Thanks.
Yeah,
Black Tiger.
DMGKB, and go ahead and get you with the right answer, obviously, not just any answer. The
Oh,
right
yeah.
answer.
Ah,
Gamers
freaking
knows
god!
best. Or gamers
Yeah,
underscore.
gamers knows best on Twitter.
Guess what I just finally did?
What?
Finally beat that stupid jumping puzzle in the freaking Rise of Iron thing. I'm up at the top.
Really?
Yes.
Yay!
The freaking snow cliff.
Damn.
I
did that
finally
day
beat
one.
That son of a bitch. Shut up.
I'm so proud of you. I
You
did
just
that
like
day
completely
one. It was
ruined
like
my-
within an hour. No, I'm
I
kidding.
think everybody
Wow. So
we gotta-
has it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody-
So
You
we
could
got
have told me. I could have.
First off, I suck at jumping puzzles, so yes, this is a big accomplishment for me. Thank
I
you.
said I'm proud of you. That's all that matters.
All right, so looks like we got a couple questions. So, and like I said before, if you guys want the code, DMGKB is the right answer. What is Batman's son's name?
Batman
And
Jr.
I'll go ahead and
Do
shoot
it.
you guys a code. So we'll take a couple questions that are already here in the chat while we're waiting on somebody. If not, I'll hold on to it and I'll give it away another day or something like that if nobody answers. First question, shout out to Sean Sue. I think that's how you say it. If I butchered that, I apologize. Says, if you were Phil, how would you reveal Scorpio? That's a
at
pretty
an
good
event.
question. So
I
we'll
would-
start with you, GKB.
I would do a similar event like what PlayStation did, just kind of off its own, without anything else. Just showing off the Scorpio, showing off like some demos and stuff at 4K 60, promising all that. And then E3, have the Scorpio on stage and stuff, but just keep it all games. I think that's what everybody wants. We don't know if that's going to happen because, Phil was even asked that on Twitter, and he's like, I know that's what people want, but honestly, they really haven't even talked about it, which is kind of interesting to me because that kind of would think that they're going to show it at E3 if he hasn't really even thought about it. It's January now. They plan these things for, quite some time in advance. So I don't know. We'll see. But I would definitely have a separate event.
Yeah, that's the way I would go too. And that was going to be another question too. Shout out to Black Tiger too. He just asked us another question about where's it at. It says, do you think Microsoft will unveil the Xbox Scorpio in May before E3?
It would be nice to.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah. We don't
Did you
know.
guys get to?
I just missed that. What do you say?
Who, BLAM? He was botting
Did
a little bit.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I said Black Tiger. He said, do you guys think that Microsoft will unveil the Scorpio before E3, like in May?
We would hope
Yeah.
so, right? Like,
Right. That's what I said.
I worry though because like I said about the Twitter thing, like he said honestly, we don't really know yet, and that's kind of weird to me that he wouldn't know at this point. So that means like possibly he's going to show it off at E3. So then if you're going to show it off at E3, you're kind of going to be light on games because you're going to spend a good portion, talking about the
Revealing.
Scorpio
Yeah.
and telling everybody why they should go buy it this holiday, right? So that's kind of worrisome.
Well, or you could look at it the other way too, or he could just be trying. He doesn't want anybody going off on the rumor mill saying, "Oh my God," and digging for information. That's an easy way to just kind of kill that.
I guess that's
question
true.
altogether.
But they kind of do it.
true,
anyway.
but at the same time, we already know it exists. So, like, why not say maybe we might have something for you guys? Just rather than I don't know.
Well, or it can create or if he says, you know what, we have been thinking about that, could be soon, or something vague like that. I mean, you could get the rumor mill going, and then have everybody, all these kind of articles, if, these people, these journalists take information, they run with it. It could be all type of, I'm not saying that's true, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I
I'm just saying
understand.
that, I don't
But
know,
if
maybe.
If I was Phil, I'd rather have people talking about Scorpio rather than the Switch right now, so people could be thinking about, Project Scorpio and what it could be, and maybe when are we gonna see it. I would
Yeah.
totally do an event. If I was Phil, I would do an event and have like the media and then FanFest people, the fans show up and then reveal it like that with like some awesome games, and maybe like one teaser at the end. That would be really nice. And then everybody would be so hyped for E3.
I'm all for a separate event. I've said that before in previous podcasts. I'm all for them doing it on its own and showcasing it on its own. That way, it leaves time at E3 for the games.
Right.
Because, like GKB said, you only get an hour and a half tops, and you're gonna spend probably at least 20 minutes of that talking about the Scorpio. So,
Absolutely.
that's gonna take away from whatever else you may have to show. And then, we do got other conferences, but who knows if they're gonna, like they did a couple years ago, where they took some of the games and actually showed those at what is it, Gamescom? Yeah, we don't know if they're going to do that this year. They may just.
That's true.
Last year they didn't show anything, so it's just a lot of questions. But I'm definitely all for a separate event for Scorpio. I hope they do it. So we'll see though. Has anybody DM'd you yet or anything like that, or no? Into this last question, I think he's looking.
What's he looking for?
Nobody sent me any DMs yet. No.
Yet?
Nope.
All right.
Telling you, Fox should just DM. Well, technically, it's not cheating because it's not like she's original.
Are you trying to find a
member.
loophole? Are you trying to find a
Yes,
loophole?
technically, because 1, I forced her to come. 2, she was just
my
listening
God.
in. And 3, she doesn't have the game.
Oh, shoot.
Homegirl
Black
always trying to
Tiger.
hook me up.
Yeah, Black Tiger.
I love She-Wolf.
Do you
guys know her.
object?
Oh, you asking Black now? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ask Black Tiger.
Oh goodness, you done skipped me. She cut the middleman right out to the source.
Hey,
Well, technically, I
GKB,
asked
check
you
your,
first.
check your DM, GKB. Wink, wink.
Now I know how that plug feels in Narcos. Shoot,
That
man.
is
Okay,
true.
so
Anyway.
okay, so last question before we wrap everything up. So another question from Black Tiger. He said, "Do you think Microsoft will open more first-party studios or concentrate on second-party devs like Remedy and Platinum Games?" So we'll start with you, She-Wolf, on this one.
question.
I don't see. It's hard because will they? Okay, do you think will they open more party studios or? See, I don't. It's so hard to tell now what they're going to do with their developers or anything like that because it's a really like to me personally that's a hard question because I don't know. It's
Well,
I don't know.
On the
I'm like
standpoint of
Brenda.
what you think they should do, whether you know or not, is kind of irrelevant.
What do I think they should do? It's still I don't even know like when it comes to Remedy and Platinum Games and stuff like that, it'd be great if they would actually like open more first party studios and get us new IPs, but at the same time, they already have Platinum Games who already just lost us a new IP. So
Yeah, but it's coming from the standpoint of not second party like using them, but more buying them as first party, so they're run by Microsoft. So then you wouldn't run into those kind of problems. Is more of the question.
Well,
Like Quantum Break.
Yeah, like Quantum Break.
it depends. Like if Phil Spencer's going to take that risk, and if Microsoft is also going to allow him to have the money to do that, then yeah, I think it would be it'd be good definitely to actually see games go forth and actually come out. Then yes, okay, I'd be all for it. But
Pulling teeth with you on this question.
well, it's just I'm so conflicted when it comes to any of these consoles and developers right now because they're so wishy-washy.
Honestly, I think there's a lot of developers and up and comers and stuff that are out there that I think the industry needs as a whole. I think gaming right now is getting a little bit stagnant as we're seeing just the same stuff. The safe games being made all the time, if you will. They're not really taking any risks, and when they do, they're either having production times and they're getting canceled and stuff like that. I would like to see Microsoft go after some of these young up-and-comers, build some studios around some really talented people, and kind of give them free reign to do a bunch of tests and, take some of their great ideas and make video games, and let's see what they can do. I think Microsoft is one of the companies that has, a lot of money that could do that. I don't know if Phil has that kind of budget where he can do that, but I mean, he's throwing 60, 70 million away on canceled games. So why not put that into some developers and let's get some games?
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point. I mean,
that's definitely a better answer than I had.
So no, I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of a it's kind of a tough question, but for me, just if you're talking strictly Microsoft here, you're speaking, video games as a whole for Microsoft, I guess, since that's what the question was. It seems like with not Scalebound, but with Platinum Games, Remedy, the relationships this year with them have been kind of shaky. Like after Quantum Break came out, it did what it did. Remedy decided that they were going to go multi-plat all of a sudden. Then this happens with Platinum Games. I don't know what's falling apart with like the relationship with Microsoft or Xbox and these second party or third party studios, whatever you want to call them. But it's like I don't know what it is. Communication is a problem. So I go the way of what GKB was saying about there's a lot of talented like indie studios, a lot of talented developers. I'd like for them to open up another couple, first party studios. That way, they can branch off and do some, maybe smaller titles, or like he said, just kind of experiment with less of a budget. That way, there's less of a risk. And then you never know what great can come from, even a smaller game, or just having that talent, around these other first-party studios. So I'd say they could go that way if he has the budget, obviously, which is not unlimited like some people like to believe. No, yes, Microsoft, they're, billions and billions of dollars worth of company, but they don't have the unlimited budget that some people seem to think the show has. So I'd say do that if he can do it. It'd be awesome, to see some of these games actually be made from start to finish with him being able to keep them under like the magnifying glass and see the progress. And okay, I don't have to fly 18 hours to Japan to check on the game,
Yeah.
So that type of stuff. I agree with you, GKB. Do you have any you want to talk about that a little bit, Foxfire, before we end the show here?
No, yeah, I agree with you guys completely. I mean, if they could do both, that would be amazing. More games for us. But I understand that things are not, like you said, communication-wise, it's not that good right now. And I feel like these other companies like Remedy and Platinum, they want to release on multiple platforms, so exclusivity doesn't really matter to them as much. But I do want them to focus on first-party studios, and I want them to make new ones with different style of games, not the same ones, not another Cars, like Forza. No more first-person shooters, please. But give me something different, like platformers, or like games like Uncharted and Tomb Raider, or something different that we could try. Even if they want to make their own studio and just make RPG games, that's fine too. So yeah, first party all the way, I say.
Cool. All right, cool. So that pretty much wraps everything up, everybody. So thank you guys for coming out, rocking out with us. Great show today. A lot of great questions. Now, looks like I'm gonna just go ahead and get that code to Fox. She doesn't have the game, so nobody hit me. Don't worry, it's not because of She Wolf intimidate me. She did not intimidate me, everybody. Okay,
She's
a
wolf.
Let you guys know. I am doing this on my own. She did not DM me. Said she was gonna break my neck if I didn't give it to Fox. That didn't happen. So she didn't do that.
Damn, she
you're way too good family to DM something like that.
I know. I'm just playing, but no. So yeah, appreciate you guys coming out, rocking out with us. So let's go around the panel, let everybody know where they can find you if they don't already know. But GKB, no introduction needed. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the sick governor. I can't wait to get off the show. I love being on the Shop podcast, but I'm really under the weather, and I just want to go lay down and pass out.
Wait, hold up, GKB. One guy said he tweeted you the answer.
Tweeted me? You got to DM me.
Well, yeah, so I don't know if he follows you or anything. I'm not sure.
I think he's got open DMs, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's open. So yeah, okay, it's open. Man. I didn't know that.
So I'll let Blam.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead and continue. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, let's see. I'll be on the. I don't know if I'm making it to community game time tonight. I don't know if I can get through all that. I'm kind of behind on my
Aw.
videos and stuff, so I gotta work on a bunch of crap. She-Wolf got me sick, so it's her fault.
Oh, that's
but-
messed up.
We'll be on the
Oh,
console
lame.
corner on Tuesday, Wednesdays Xbox Nation, then back on the shop and all that kind of stuff. So that's what's going on.
All right, awesome. So, Foxfire, our guest for today.
Oh wow,
Go
it
ahead.
was awesome to being here and helping you guys out and chatting. But yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Lady Foxfire. I also do YouTube videos. Got to do a new one soon. Also, you guys could see me on Community Game Night tonight, Destiny. So hopefully you guys come out there. We could play. And also, I'm on Console Corner, Best Damn Podcast on Tuesday nights.
All right,
Thanks
cool.
for having me on here.
All right, She-Wolf, go ahead, love.
Obviously, you can find me hanging out, whether I'm on Console Corner, Gamers Knows Best. I just had some videos released. And of course, I'll be on Community Game Time at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Like Fox said, we'll be playing Destiny. Other than that, you can find me on Xbox Nation and probably hanging back out here with these amazing people on Saturday night.
Awesome. Okay, so I am Blam, the host with the most. You guys know me. Follow me, subscribe, PTK Blam across the board, YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox Live. You guys come play in their community game night. They always put on a great one. GKB may not be there tonight. Like I said, they're a little bit under the weather, so they still put on a great show anyway. It's always good fun when they do it. So you guys come out, show love. One guy, X, he said that he doesn't know how to DM. If you just go to GKB's Twitter, like his profile, it should be a box there. It'll say what
Like
does it say?
messaging?
Message. It'll say
Yeah.
message, yeah, something like that on his profile, and you click that and then just send it to him in a direct message. I'm gonna give you a little bit. Otherwise, I'm gonna just go ahead and give this to. I want to be fair. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time. Otherwise, if you don't, figure it out in that period of time, I'll just go ahead and give it to Fox. Anyway, appreciate all you guys coming out. Love to see you guys showing community support. Got a lot of stuff lined up for the channel here today, and for the following couple days. Got some videos coming out. You guys are gonna like a real treat. So yeah, we out of here. We're gonna end it here, guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Come to community game night, and I would do our outro GKB, but I don't. You already feel bad. So you guys have a good one and take it easy, man. Have a good one.
See you.
All
Bye,
right,
guys.
laters.